My faith is my life. It's what you live by.
So when you get out in the world and things get hard...
She wanted to offer a prayer at commencement, but a judge ruled she could not.
We talked to the seniors, and one person suggested that we all do the Lord's Prayer together, you know, as a senior class.
Defiantly, the seniors stood up in prayer.
And then see the rest of the 3,000 people that were in our tiny gym stand up and just cheering, and it was just amazing. Once you choose Christian faith, once you realize that is the way, you are God's warrior regardless. And so it's just whether you're going to pick up your sword and go for it or not.
Recognizing two future Christian warriors, Dean Staver arranged scholarships for both sisters to come to Liberty University. Megan hopes to go to law school.
What do you think God has called you to do with a law degree or as a lawyer?
To defend Christians, to defend just civil rights in general.
So what issues are important to you? Moral issues?
The abortion issues, the gay marriage issues, the just situations like that.
Megan and Mandy pledged themselves to God in church at the age of 7. Their dorm room is a testament to their faith.
Why do you say that you're worried about, you know, the country's reaction to Christians? Because you are able to practice freely, you're able to worship, you're able to follow the faith as you see it.
It's not that way everywhere, and we're not oblivious to that. And it's not that it's already happened, it's just like small things lead up to bigger things.
These days, they may find a Supreme Court more sympathetic to conservative religious concerns like their own. In its first full year with Chief Justice John Roberts and his newest colleague Samuel Alito, the court has tilted noticeably to the right.
It's a new court, new ballgame, new outcome, not only in public expressions of religion, but in many other areas as well.
Yet all the changes have come in close 5-4 decisions. And so it's clear that whoever wins the 2008 presidential election could sway the court's direction one way or the other for years to come.
You know, the two biggest liberals on the court are John Paul Stevens, who was 87 years old, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was 75 years old. If the two of them were replaced by justices similar to Chief Justice Roberts and Justice Alito, the religious right will have won in the Supreme Court, and the law will be transformed beyond recognition.
So what will that mean to America?
You're going to have abortion illegal in large parts of the country. You're going to have schools allowing a lot more religious observance within them.
That is music to Matt Staver's ears, and a vision of America that he and his students would embrace. The answer to their prayers.
There's no question we'll keep fighting at the Supreme Court until we have a new day. We never, ever, ever give up.
It's always good to see you.
How are you? Very good to see you.
Still to come, I meet a former president fighting to reclaim his faith from the right.
It's impossible for a fundamentalist to admit that he is ever wrong, because he would be admitting that God was wrong.
Verily I say unto you, the hour is coming.
America is a nation of faith, a landscape dotted with houses of worship. From mega-churches to countryside chapels, on the radio and on television,
Give him praise and glory in the house.
religion provides the soundtrack to much of American life.
The chaplain will lead the Senate in prayer.
Father in heaven.
But America is also a country where faith and politics go hand in hand, where members of Congress pray on the steps of the Capitol.
We will build a spiritual prayer wall around America.
And where presidential expressions of faith,
thank you, and God bless you,
are an American tradition.
May God bless America.
But I wanted to meet the president who experienced firsthand Jerry Falwell and the birth of the religious right, and who is still concerned about their influence today.
Thank you for doing this for us so early in the morning.
I met former President Jimmy Carter at the Carter Center in Atlanta. He himself is the product of a strong Christian upbringing. His father, a deacon and Sunday school teacher, who taught his son that faith and politics should not mix.
I've always remembered that Thomas Jefferson, claiming to speak on behalf of all the founding fathers, said we should build a wall between the church and the state.
Carter was open about his faith while running for president, describing himself as a born-again Christian and winning a majority of the evangelical vote in 1976.
We never had any religious services in the White House. I never expressed any preference for my own Christian faith compared to others.
But his presidency would be defined in part by religion and the emergence of God's warriors on the world stage. Most notably during the Iranian Revolution, where a religious fundamentalist took over a nation, making God and country truly one in the new Islamic Republic of Iran.
I experienced fundamentalism in the Islamic faith when the Iranians took American hostages, and the Ayatollah Khomeini, who was a fundamentalist, felt that it was all right to hold foreigners hostage.
52 Americans held captive for 444 days. It was a major reason that Carter was a one-term president. And religion in America also played a role in ending Carter's presidency. Many evangelicals who supported this committed Christian Democrat in 1976 switched to the not-so-church-going Republican Ronald Reagan 4 years later.
Congratulations, sir.
Many had been swayed by Jerry Falwell and his moral indictment of American culture.
Inside, they're selling the poison that cripples Americans' children.
Did you ever think that Jerry Falwell and the religious right would get so involved and become so powerful in American politics?
No, subsequently, that was a surprise to me of some degree.
Out of office, Carter returned home to Plains, Georgia, and to his church.
This is the first real indication of God's will for women to play a leading role in the early church.
He taught adult Sunday school and still does. But in the 1990s, he watched the Southern Baptist Convention he belonged to grow progressively more conservative and more political, contrary to his faith.
And they were, in my opinion, a radical departure from what, to me, the Baptist faith had always represented. In effect, they adopted a creed that said if you don't agree with this written document in its entirety, you cannot be a pastor in a Southern Baptist church.
Especially troublesome to the president, an amendment in 2000 to the group's statement of beliefs on the role of women. From now on, like Muslims and Orthodox Jews, Southern Baptists would restrict the role of women.
Women must be submissive to their husbands, and that no woman can be a leader in the church as a pastor or a deacon in the church, and that women are precluded from instructing men. So those things have been of great concern to me.
The Southern Baptist Amendment on a woman's role passed in 2000. Carter then publicly broke with the convention. He's continued to speak out against what he sees as the growing influence of fundamentalism in many religions, characterized by rigidity, male domination, and exclusion.
And it's impossible for a fundamentalist to admit that he is ever wrong, because he would be admitting that God was wrong.
Jimmy Carter is working to reclaim his faith.
I think the primary crisis that faces the Christian church in its totality is division.